Being a Kid. Ugh. Read by the author, Tracy R.L. O'Flaherty. Chapter 16. Choose Love. Isn't it all fascinating? I like that line. I like the words. For when I am feeling the desire to understand why people do what they do, I say, isn't that fascinating? Isn't it fascinating what the reactions are? Isn't it fascinating that people can throw away people like trash? Isn't it fascinating that we feel we all need somebody or many somebodies, and yet we treat others poorly at times? We make our choices rushed and harsh. We, at times, can be our own worst enemies, and yet we all have the power and the wisdom to be our best friend. Friends, aren't they fascinating? The people that come and go out of our lives, isn't that fascinating? The one perhaps you felt would never leave, leaves. The one you thought would never amount to a meaningful relationship carries years and decades of empowerment, of great friendship, or perhaps lovers. How does it all work? Why do we treat others the way we treat others? Where is the kindness and the love? Where is it hidden to be found? We searched for chocolate eggs to fill a basket, and yet, at times, we leave things so empty it cannot be filled with anything but emptiness. Having an empty heart is the suffering. People leaving people empty. People leaving people full. How does it work? How many children leave their parents in the disappointment of emptiness? And how many parents leave their children feeling the same? This book was not really written to bring forth parents and children, but it was to bring forth an awareness of being a parent and a child. And if you do not have the experience of being a parent, you most certainly have the experience of being a child. The experience of life, do we choose? What do we choose? And why do we choose what we choose? All brilliant questions to ponder from the depths of our hearts. It is so easy to be unkind when hurt is present. It is so easy to carry with us burdens of events and experiences that happened decades before. The surprise is that it can also be easy to remove the shackles that keep us from our steps in peace and harmony. It is hard to move in any direction when one is shackled to unpleasantness, when one is shackled to the hurt and betrayal, when one is shackled to the unforgiveness, when one is shackled to feeling anything but worthy, one is shackled with no place to go, no movement to bring forth a better feeling, no movement to see oneself as the divine beauty of creation. It is very, very difficult to see the world through the eyes of Source, when one cannot see beyond the dysfunction. Dysfunctional families, where are they not found? Said with playfulness, and yet with honesty. We have labeled many things, and we use words to label many things. A dysfunctional family is the norm, is it not? A relationship that is dysfunctional. And what makes it so? What happens to people along their journey of life? What happens to create such disappointment and turmoil? What happens when one carries the disappointments and the upsets, the sorrow and the anger, the fear, the turmoil, the anguish, the resentment, the frustration, and all things that create a space to feel anything but happiness and ease? A peaceful heart, is it possible? I don't know. I have come to terms with many things. I have come to accept that people do things that are surprising, that are not expected. I have come to expect the unexpected when it comes to people, perhaps even when it comes to myself. I have done things that I wish I never would have made the choice that I did. I trusted in the untrusting. I gave to the ones that would only take. I found a place to give with what I knew to be, only to find what I knew to be was so far off course. I know, we all can say that. I know. There isn't a soul in the world that has not felt the pain of their own world. It is impossible, for you cannot know happiness without knowing sadness. Lollipops, kittens, puppies, and all things good, where are they? As children, we have the ability to see the world with lollipops and kittens. And yet, we have experienced the word no when we couldn't take the kitten home, when the lollipop was taken away because we behaved poorly. Lollipops, kittens, and puppies, all things have contrast. All things that we feel that has the ability to bring happiness has the same ability to bring the opposite. That is what we need to understand. We need to understand that there is an opposite. We need to understand that there is always a place for great expansion or a place for great retreat. Marriage to divorce. How many children see their family divorce? How many children are held with ransom as parents fight the endless battle of the fight? Fighting for what? Fighting for what? Peace among the family? Isn't it all very fascinating? To let go with grace is to let go with grace. To let go after a divorce with grace can feel like an impossible task. For many times, ones feel the other should be punished. Ones feel the depth of hurt in their soul. There are many endless reasons that people separate from one another, and there are many grand reasons to feel the hurt of the crumble and end. But the end becomes a new beginning. Ask someone married twice, 3, or perhaps 4 times. What do we hold in our creations? What do we hold on to? What do we let go of? And how do we know what to choose? How do we know what should be kept and what should be dismissed? Where do our own answers come from? What are we capable of? What are we doing with each other? How are we treating others and mankind? Better question, how do we treat ourselves when it all falls apart? The joy of life is to be brought forward. The happiness is held within to be brought forward. And isn't it easy for me to write these words when I am not the one writing? I receive the words through the gifts of mediumship, a gift from all things from above. Does the realm in which the words are shared, does the wisdom only hold love for one or for all? And the answer is the words are for all. The wisdom that is being shared is for me. It is for the reader. It is for the one who never holds the book in their hand, because just perhaps, one day the book is picked up and read with such care, and in that moment the words that are shared are heard. The wisdom that is being shared is pondered and processed to fill one's heart of all things good in the understanding of understanding. The gift of mediumship, what a gift! To some, the gift feels like truth, and to others, the gift is fake, is false, is untrue, cannot be, not in divine light, but perhaps from the depths of hell. The Easter Bunny, Santa, the Tooth Fairy, isn't it all fascinating? I should start.